Hello YouTube. In this video I'm going to show you how to work with hard drives using Computer Manager and Windows 10. It works pretty well the same for Windows 7, Vista, XP. So in Windows 10 you're going to right click on the start button, then you're going to go to Computer Management. Now once you're under Computer Management you come down here and click on Disk Management under Storage. Give it a few seconds because it'll take it a minute to pop up. And then you can see that there's two uninitialized new disks in this system. You have disk 1, disk 2. I can set them up as MBR, or I can set them up as GPT. GPT is in more recent versions of Windows. Older versions won't recognize it or even understand what it is. So if you want compatibility and for various other reasons, you're best to use MBR, which is the master boot record, rather than the GPT. So click OK, and it'll initialize both of those disks. Now you'll see both of them are 32 gig. The main one itself is 64. All of them are set up as basic disks. Now if you right click on the main disk itself, you can see it convert to dynamic. So if you right click on all of these, you can do several different options, and one of the things that Windows 10 is capable of, as you can see right clicking on the unallocated, I can do a new span volume, new stripe volume, or a new mirrored volume. Given that those two right there are identical sizes, I can actually configure both of them as dynamic disks in a mirror configuration. Or I can just set them up as a software mirror. If I had 4 disks, I could set them up in a RAID 5 configuration, which would give me a little bit better performance, but that's neither here nor there. So one of the things you can do is you can come up here, you can create new simple partitions, which is the simple volume. You can format your partitions, you can delete partitions, and you can work with every drive that's in the system provided there's media in it. So for these two drives right here, what we're going to do is first we're going to create new simple volumes on both of them. And you'll see that that one immediately creates a partition, and then it's going to do a quick format, comes back healthy. It's a primary partition and it's a healthy partition. So we'll do the same on the second one. Now, so you know what I'm doing. In this wizard, you just, at the welcome screen, click next. Leave it at the maximum size unless you want to create different partitions on the drive. Click next. And then it'll assign the drive letter. It'll automatically use whatever the next letter is. Or if you have an empty folder on another drive, you can actually mount it to that folder and it'll span across from that folder. We're just going a letter. And we're going to name it so that way we can distinguish the difference between the drives. Like I said, you can see right here, you can enable file compression, file and folder, perform quick formats. It'll automatically perform the quick format once it's created, and then you have a healthy drive ready to go. So we effectively just set up two brand new drives in Windows 10, one storage 2, both of them are 32 gig in size. So let's say you need to format. You just right click on that partition, click format. And you can see right here, 32 NTFS. I can set the file system to whatever I want it to be. I can change the name and then perform a quick format again. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to delete the volume or delete the partition. So you right click on it, go delete. You can also mark them as active partitions. Active partitions are normally where operating systems are stored. You can shrink the size of the partition or extend the size, or you can add a mirror. So in this particular case, we're going to delete the volume. Yes. We're going to come down here to this one, delete volume. Yes. And now we're going to do a mirrored volume. It's going to assign the letter E. I'm going to name it R storage for redundant storage. And as you can see, it's going to automatically convert both of these to dynamic disks and then set them up as a mirror. And now you can see that both of those are mirrored volumes. It's formatting both drives. The format on a mirror will take considerably longer because it has to go through and do a full format of the drive. So be prepared for that. It will take quite some time. With these being 32 gig drives, it won't take as long as normal. If you're talking about like a couple of 2 terabyte drives, oh yeah, you can be waiting quite a while. This is one way in Windows to do a software RAID on your storage to have redundancy rather than doing a hardware RAID, but you are still far better off if you have a RAID capable card to do a hardware RAID rather than a software. And there it is, complete. And now you see a single drive come up as E. Says that it's a mirrored drive. Both of these drives, no matter what I put on it, if I drop anything to drive E, it goes to both of these drives at the same time. So that's some very handy information for users out there to know, that if you want to do a simple mirror RAID and you don't have the hardware capability to do it, all you have to have is 2 identical sized drives, and setting up a software RAID is super simple. So we're going to go ahead and kill this mirror. Right click on it, break mirror volume, click yes. Now it drops the 2 of them to simple volumes, and it's going to separate both of them out into 2 separate drives. So now there's 4, and then we can just delete the volume from right here. And that is how you work with drive partitions using computer management in Windows. This information is out there for absolutely everybody. As always, watch, like, and share. Have a great day.